like is exactly what you're saying. You know, Sensei Laurie Scott was my original Goju sensei. He was one of the hardest trainers, and like doing kotiki tai with him was just absolute murder.
Right.
His forearms were like, and I remember grabbing his wrists, and his wrists were like this. And he was a
Right.
much smaller man than me, but just a devastating fighter. But the gentlest, kindest, most humble, and most polite person I've probably ever met, and respectful in so many ways. Um, and so that kind of stayed with me. And I think for me, what I look for, you know, to your point before about morals, I mean, I don't know if I'm in a place to sort of point people towards anything in particular in terms of how they should live their lives. But I
Right.
think every time I put my gear on, I think about that Scottish cop,
Well, you know what
and I
I
try to live
say?
up to that.
I say, I don't. One of my friends is a hippie radical from the '60s, right? And he's one of my best friends. He trained with me in karate briefly. He still lives in New York. He owns a flower shop, and he did the flowers for my wedding. So I know the guy. I mean, we're married
Yeah,
38 years, so I know the guy
yeah,
forever.
yeah.
And he once said to me, he said, "You're the most moral guy I know," right? And I
Mm,
said, "Okay, right." And but I said, "But I don't force my morals on others." Like in other words, I try to be an example,
mm,
but I'm not gonna tell people, well, you can't do this or you can't do that. My first instructor tried to do that with me, and he wasn't a very moral guy, right?
mm,
And that's why I left eventually.